right, now to our most interactive bit in this bulletin. We are engaging the CEO at Maridady Motors, Eric Mwangi. This as we try to understand the uptake of electric cars in Kenya. Many have been wishing to have one, but how soon are we going to have them? Welcome on set. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. First and foremost, what is the uptake of electric cars in Kenya today?
Well, the truth of the matter, Irene, is that the uptake of electric cars in Kenya is very, very low as we speak. So if you were to talk in terms of percentages, like for example at Maridady Motors, out of every 200 cars we sell, maybe only one of them is going to be electric.
And why do you think people still preferred the fossil fuel vehicles compared to the electric cars? Because we were told about them quite some time back, and even quite a number of people have imported them to the country, but not many of us.
Actually, quite a number of reasons. At Maridady Motors, we've been able to collect opinions from the market, from our customers, on why they are afraid to take up electric vehicles. And I think they have very varied reasons. We can look at a number of them. Of course, the first one is the issue of cost. You know, electric cars, while they are very friendly to the environment, you will find that if you're buying it as a used vehicle, for example, it might be relatively more expensive than what you call a fossil fuel vehicle. And this is based on the fact that for the people that buy vehicles, most of the Kenyans buy pre-owned vehicles. So you find about 80% of the market buy pre-owned vehicles, while 20% or less buys brand new cars. So if you go to the international markets where we import these vehicles from, you will find that the availability of the electric vehicles is not as high as the availability of the fossil fuel vehicles. And what this means is that because of the availability, the supply is low, so the price definitely is going to be high. So the issue of cost is number one. Number two is the fear of what we call market support. Now, once you buy a vehicle, you know it's a durable asset, and once in a while you need someone who can fix it for you if something goes wrong. So you will find that the average Kenyan doesn't know of a mechanic somewhere who can be able to fix properly an electric vehicle. And this is a very, very big concern, and we are urging our TVET institutions to start moving towards preparing the market and preparing a generation of new mechanics who can be able to support Kenyans with electric cars. Just the other day, Irene, was in China, and I was very impressed to see what those guys have done. You know, even before they roll out electric vehicles in the country, they will roll out a curriculum that is going to release mechanics who are ready to support electric vehicles in the market. So the issue of market support is also a very, very big concern.
But even before I get to the need of creating awareness, because I think as people who sell vehicles in the country, it's about time we do awareness about the electric vehicles. There is this issue of cost. With the high cost of living right now, maintaining a battery for an electric vehicle is also an issue that many people are shying away from it. Do you think we'll be able to come up with a way of ensuring that the costs are low?
Looking at the progression of electric vehicle technology over the last 10 years, we can say that the industry has come a long way in terms of bringing the cost of batteries down. And it's not just batteries for electric vehicles. We are talking about batteries for the gadgets that we use, the mobile phones, the laptops, the tablets. We are talking about batteries that are used to, for solar lighting and all those kind of things. You will find that lithium batteries are relatively cheaper than they were 10 years ago. And what we are looking at is that as the technology advances, as we get more producers of the lithium batteries, then the cost will definitely go down.
Just a yes or no, is it true that the cost of repairing an electric battery matches the price of acquiring one?
Well, quite honestly, on the surface, yes.
All right. Apart from that, there is also the issue of charging ports. What should we do? Because we already have only about 4 of them in the country. And, to serve the whole country, we need more charging ports. What do you think the government should do?
You're very right. And this is part of the market support that we are talking about. After you buy an electric car, you need that support, infrastructural support in terms of where do you go and charge it. And I think there are things that have been done. I would want to celebrate, for example, a shopping mall like the Waterfront in Karen. You find they have charging points for electric vehicles, and maybe other malls should emulate these, because if there is any good place to charge your car, it is where you actually park it, be it at home or be it at the workplace or be it at a commercial establishment. And I think because the cost of setting up the charging ports is not cheap. and the return is not immediate because the electric vehicles are not as many, to pay for the charging. So you will find that the government needs to come up with incentives that will encourage investors, particularly the investors who are setting up commercial establishments like shopping malls, hospitals, any place where the public goes and they have to park their car for 30 minutes, for 1 hour, for 2 hours. That is the perfect spot where they can be able to recharge their vehicle. So the government can be able to give these people incentives so that they set up the charging points for members of the public.
Would you mention a few of the incentives? Because apart from the awareness that we are calling on from you people, you're also looking at the incentives, but just mention a few that you think we should.
Fantastic. What I see when I travel to countries that are big on electric cars, like I said, I was in China about 3 or 4 weeks ago, you will find that, for example, there are a lot of tax benefits for people who prefer to buy electric vehicles. So the electric car is taxed less than the fossil fuel vehicle, and that brings the cost down, okay? So the other thing you will find is that the county governments in those countries, for example, because the electric cars are always given a green number plate, so it is going to be identified by bearing a green number plate. So you will find, because it has a different number plate, when it goes to park, for example, let's say you're parking in the streets of Nairobi, you will find that your tariff for parking is going to be lower than the person who is driving a fossil fuel vehicle. Sometimes these people also get discounts in terms of where they are going to charge the vehicle, because the shopping malls are getting incentives and power rebates, for the electricity that is used to charge the vehicles. You will find that when they go to the shopping malls, they will get preferred parking rates, and this is going to encourage the public to take up electric vehicles.
With all these ideas of people switching from fossil fuel cars to electric vehicles, where do you see the country in the next 1 year? Let's not look at the 5 years. Let's look at it in the next 1 year as we come to the end.
Well, as Maridady Motors, we believe that the long-term future, 10, 15, 20 years will be about electric vehicles. However, we must agree that at the moment, the market is not fully ready for electric vehicles. So it's going to be an issue of trusting the process and driving the process. Dealers like us, like Maridady Motors, we can be able to help the market by giving information. And I want to celebrate my team, my online team back in the office at Maridady Motors. They've been running a lot of videos on our Facebook page to educate members of the public on the benefits of electric vehicles. So I think it's something that we all have to do collectively for us to get to the destination.
Your closing remarks?
My closing remark is to invite your viewer to come to Maridady Motors and buy a car. We are at Ridges on Kiambu Road, and also to welcome you.
Thank you. That is the CEO, Maridady Motors, Eric Mwangi, and we have been discussing matters electric cars. Is it about time, or should we wait for more time?